Hi Lamb. How are you doing, Hi? How's everything going?
Hello everyone. I'm doing pretty well. Pretty chill day so far. Went to the dentist with my fiance. We had some shabu, played a little bit of League of Legends, and now I'm here excited to talk to you all.
That's an amazing date to go to the dentist. I
That's what I was
appreciate the
gonna
fact
say. Good date. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's a date,
The
but
romantic day starts at the dentist and goes to Shabu.
So for the folks who are not just coming to the stream and may not know of the amazing work that you've done in the competitive space, give the folks a little bit of information about you and some of the work you've done.
I originally played League of Legends professionally back in 2013. When Cloud9 first became a thing, I was part of the original roster. I played the mid lane for the team for about 2 to 3 years. Following that, I joined a few other teams, played for a while. In 2018, I decided to retire, which is crazy because I think I'm young, probably compared to some of y'all. But compared to like the esports community, I'm kind of like a boomer for them. So it's like, I'm like in this weird position where like I've retired from like my main thing and now I'm working towards my next thing. But it's like, I'm still pretty, I'm under 30, you know? So I went for content creation for a while, did some streaming. I started my own esports organization called Radiant. I've been running that, and currently I do that along with working on the LCS analyst desk. So I basically talk about the games that happened in the LCS, who won, who played bad, things like that.
We asked everyone else on the panel, what is it to kind of find a way to continue to be positive and find good positive spaces for you at this point, have moving from that competitive space to now being the head of an organization. What's that been like for you in terms of your journey? How are you keeping yourself positive and how are you kind of keeping yourself, up when you're having some down times?
Well, for me, I have a bit of a different experience than that from most people. I've generally, been a pretty positive / happy kind of person like my entire life. You have to find what works for you, right? Like whether that be playing a game, whether that be going for a walk, whatever you can do, you can go for it, and you won't always be happy, right? There's going to be times where life kicks you down. You're going to be on the ground. It's going to kick you again. And there will be a point where you'll be happy again, right? And you just got to work towards that. Life won't always be happy, but you can do a lot to make it happy for yourself.
You talk about being happy in these transitions, right? What did you find after you retired? Was that one? Did you have that moment afterwards of like, this is exactly what I wanted? Or was there that panic moment of like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing the thing I love?
At first, I was a bit bummed and sad because I had my place in the scene, right? Like I was a known figure. I played in the game. All my friends are doing it. Now that I'm stepping back from it, am I still going to be friends with these people? Have the friends I made still going to be my friends, even though I'm not like a part of that world, quote unquote? I'm a person that finds a lot of enjoyment in what I do, whether it be playing a game, whether it be building a company, or whether it be even doing like streaming and things like that. I'll make the most out of what I can and kind of just focus on that. Like, yes, I'm not playing anymore, but for me, I try to focus my energy and channel my thoughts into what I'm doing next rather than what has happened already, since I can't change that, right? So a bit bittersweet, but I just look towards to what I can do.
How difficult is it to build really positive relationships with teammates or with the community in general in an environment that can sometimes be toxic, obviously being as competitive as it is? Like, has that been a challenge or something that you tried to focus on?
I definitely think it's difficult when you're playing with 4 other people and you have like coaches and stuff. Like, yes, you all have the same goal and you want to win, but everyone has a different idea of how to get there, right? And you're going to have these disagreements, and it's important that when you do have these disagreements, you be mindful of how you say it, because even if you're right, if you're going about it the wrong way, the other person's not going to be very receiving of it, right? He might understand you're right, but he's not going to take it well because of the way you say it.
My question on that is, you talk about, coming up through the ranks as a team again. For you retiring, how did that shift the dynamic between you guys being friends and teammates?
I think there was like an instance there where like maybe myself and a teammate, I thought that he was like pushing me off the team due to disagreements we have. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's him that did it. It's just like, the manager or the owner's the one that makes the final decisions, that kind of stuff. You definitely become less close in a way, because you're your roommates before that, right? Like we had a gaming house, we lived together, we ate together, spent time together. Now, obviously, we live in different places, so we don't spend as much time together. My really close friend, I've built so many memories with them. I haven't forgotten that, and I think it works vice versa.
How do you make sure that you don't get like braggy or bodacious or arrogant about it and stay welcoming to new players or new people who might want to get involved in your community?
It's a pretty difficult thing, right? To like humble yourself when you're at like,
be aware of not being humble is hard.
Right. It takes a lot of introspection to be like, hey, like I'm good at this game, but you know, like when you go to the world stage, someone's gonna be better than you there, right? Like there's always gonna be someone at the top, unless you're literally just the best person, which we weren't. So like there's always a hurdle that we have to climb past and overcome, right?
Hi, I'm curious about, now moving into, again, this kind of leadership role. How are you kind of making sure that your team is in a good space mentally and working through things in a positive way?
When you have a friend group, right? Generally, your friend group are going to share similar personality traits or qualities as you are. And I think that can somewhat apply to jobs and stuff as well, as long as you're the person in charge. Like if you're in the person in charge of hiring people, like yes, you want to get qualified people, but there's a lot of qualified people out there. How do you choose which one? And you kind of just build the environment you want, right? If I'm going to build a team of players, say for Valorant or something, for example, right? And one guy is toxic, but he's like radiant or like whatever. And one guy is positive and he's like radiant. It makes a lot of sense for me to pick the positive guy, right? So we have a lot of power to kind of shape the work environment that we want, and we make sure that it's something that we keep mindful of. Like obviously I can't take care of people's mental health for them. I can be a resource, I can give them resources, but at the end of the day it's something that they have to take care of, and I have to do my best to create a good environment so it doesn't make those things negative.
Do you have a advice for that kind of balance?
I think it's perfectly okay to just feel like a cog in the wheel sometimes, right? You only have so much energy every day to focus on, yourself or your family or whatever the thing may be. If you're making content, how do you want that content to affect other people's lives? Because it's what you're doing it for, right? Whether you're playing games for a living, whether you're making a podcast, people are going to listen and people are going to watch. How do you want that content to affect them? And that should shape how you do your content, how you make your content. But at the same time, you can't spend all your energy every single day making sure that what you're doing is perfect. You just have to like go through the motions sometimes, right? Unfortunately, we're humans, right? We get tired, we have to take breaks. You kind of just have to do your job. Even if you love your job, it's still a job that you should do.
Sure.
I think it's perfectly fine to have those days where like you just, where'd the day go kind of thing,
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's so
gone.
funny.
All right, bye.
It happened. It's already done. It's already there. Hi, what's your thoughts on that? What's your go-to move for getting some positivity in the space really quick?
For me, I'm a very extroverted person. I'm very social. I love talking to people. I love playing games with people. I love going outside and doing things. So if I'm feeling down or, lonely or something like that, I'll just reach out to my friends or my significant other and be like, hey, you want to play a game? You want to go play some tennis? You want to get some food or something? The internet has provided us so much positive things from it. You can use Discord to join a community. You can use Facebook, I guess, to find friends. I don't know if people actually do that. But you have Facebook for your friends from high school, etc. You have the power to reach out to people if that's what you want to do, to make friendships, to meet people. You said earlier you're on an island where you don't, have people there, but you can open your island to others, right? You're allowed to bring people there. You're allowed to have a peer there where they can come visit you. It just takes effort to want to do that. And for people that don't want to do that and just want to be on their own, there's plenty of solo player games that you can do, or books that you can read, or walks you can do, a lot of hobbies that you can do on your own. It just kind of comes down to what makes you happy and how can you go about doing it, which sometimes is hard to do.
No doubt. It's super hard. I mean, my go-to at this point is I listen to some music. Hi, I want to give you a minute really quick to share, where people can find all of your work, where people can find all the cool stuff that you're doing and getting into.
It's pretty easy to find me. You can either look me up on Twitter. It's just HAI, hi, my name. I got a 3-letter one. It's actually super nice. Otherwise, it's going to be Simply High, which is just spelled as is, simply, and then my name. I'm not very creative, if I'm going to be honest. My game name has never had anything in them except for my name.
I envy that. It's a good idea. This is from PC Santos in the Cloud9 chat that said, I remember at Simply High once said he shot calls with the belief that his team is better no matter who he's with and who he's against, because if he doesn't, it affects his ability to lead.
I've definitely said a lot of things, but I did live by that mantra, because if you're going to start a competitive game, right, but you're already putting yourself 5 feet behind the starting line, it's really hard to come back from that. So even if, people say the enemy team or the enemy player is better than you, you thinking that yourself, personally, that didn't help me at all. Me thinking that I'm better, me thinking that my team is better, you go into that game doing what you think is best. How are we going to win? And we're going to do that. If they outplay us, fine. But we're going to go in there thinking that we can win, and we're going to try our hardest to win.
Yeah, I just thought it was a really interesting anecdote, like especially where leading is concerned, is that you really do have to believe in your team, even if it's statistically unlikely, because if you don't, then even the minor chance that they'll win becomes smaller.
I think there's like a thing in animals where like they can feel like fear or whoever they're like following, like in like wolf pack, for example. The leader of the wolf pack has to have confidence in that kind of thing. I actually met some wolves and did the thing with Red Bull, like where I met a wolf and they explained how like
I actually met a wolf. What?
Yeah. There's like I don't know what it was, but Red Bull brought us out when we were still part of Cloud9, and we met wolves and they taught us about like how wolf pack functions and like how the alpha wolf, they're an alpha when they're born. They're not like voted in, they're just born that way. And basically that says that they have to lead a certain way. They know how to lead a certain way. They are going to like do X, Y, and Z, and people are going to follow them. It's much easier to follow someone that's confident in what they're doing rather than someone that's being wishy-washy, right?
What was it like meeting wolves?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't like big dogs at all. I'm not a very big person. I'm generally kind of afraid of them. I've seen like videos and all that kind of stuff. I know dogs generally aren't harmful or anything like that, but you know, like a wolf is a different story, right? Don't they like?
I would have been scared.
They're apex predators, I'm pretty sure. So like, I was pretty scared at first.
Yeah.
Like, they said we could pet them and things like that too, but
Like,
it took me quite a while to get the courage up to get close to them. But it's pretty sick.
That's how those alphas want you to feel.
Yeah, they're pretty intimidating. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. See you later.
Bye.
Music Bed.